local news leader. This is KTTC News.
We are getting our first look at the second twin sister charged in a high-profile court case in Fillmore County. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being with us tonight. I'm Brock Burgee. First at 5, Sarah Peterson is accused of covering for her identical twin, Samantha, in connection with last fall's deadly Amish buggy crash north of Spring Valley. Today, it was Sarah's turn to go before the judge. KTTC's Megan Zempel was in court today, joining us now live in studio. Megan, we saw little emotion from Samantha back on Monday, so what did you see today with Sarah?
Hi, Brock. Sarah Peterson arrived with her attorney, Thomas Braun, wearing black pants with a jacket. Her face didn't seem to show much emotion either. The criminal complaint alleges she covered for her identical twin, Samantha, who was allegedly on meth and speeding when the crash happened on September 25th. The crash killed Wilma and Irma Miller and injured their siblings, Rose and Alan. Peterson was arraigned on 16 charges, 4 counts of criminal vehicular homicide, 8 counts of aiding an offender, and 4 counts of criminal vehicular operation. Fillmore County Attorney Brett Corson asked Judge Jeremy Kleinfelter for a $50,000 unconditional bond, which was given to Samantha. However, the judge said that amount was not appropriate since there's no evidence she was on drugs at the time of the incident, and she's been clean and sober according to her current probation conditions due to a previous federal drug conviction. After the arraignment, Sarah went to go get booked, fingerprinted, and a new mugshot, which we can see here. Sarah was then released on her own recognizance. Both sisters have omnibus hearings on June 3rd. Stay with KTTC as we continue to follow this case. In the studio, Megan Zempel, KTTC News.
Megan, thank you so much. We turn now to meteorologist Sarah Gannon joining us live from our weather patio. We got some sunshine back today, Sarah. Will it continue as we head toward Easter?
Yeah, hey there, Brock. Absolutely beautiful conditions out here today, enjoying that sunshine. We'll look to see maybe a little bit of some sunshine as we head into the weekend, but we are tracking the chance for some rain activity as we head towards later in the day on Easter. So we're looking at 2 little waves, the potential for some very stray showers, maybe late Friday. That'll stay mainly during the overnight hours. And then the next opportunity arriving later in the day Sunday, continuing into the start of next week. So that's our next weather maker that we are going to continue to keep an eye on here for the region. The other thing we're watching and tracking is going to be temperatures returning back to more seasonal values into the 40s and some 50s. And that could start as soon as tomorrow. Outside, we're enjoying that beautiful sunshine area wide as we check in with your Lewis Donato Live camera network. You can see quiet conditions overhead here in southeast Minnesota, northeast Iowa with high pressure that's dominating the upper Midwest. Area wide, we're looking at our temperatures still just a tad below average. We're currently sitting at 39 degrees here in Rochester. Very calm winds. Area wide, though, southeast Minnesota, northeast Iowa, settling into those mid-upper 30s and some lower 50s, especially south of I-90, mainly in northeast Iowa. Many spots there sitting into those lower 40s. But as I mentioned, not much for wind here, about 3 to 8 miles per hour for most folks. So we'll continue on with a quiet evening. So if you have plans maybe after work to get outside, enjoy those last few rays of sunshine, it'll be a nice cooler evening to do that. Clear skies will continue overnight, and then we're looking to see a quick push into the 50s by tomorrow, and we're continuing to keep an eye on that potential rain chance headed our way just in time for the tail end of Easter. We'll look at those forecast details coming up in your First Alert weather in just a little bit. Brock?
Shaw County now, where a man was found dead inside a pickup truck after being pulled from the Zumbro River earlier today. KTTC was first on scene as emergency crews responded to this incident near Millville. Our Matt Rainier joins us live in studio here at 5. Matt, tell us, what's the latest from law enforcement right now?
Brock, we now know the name of the man authorities pulled from that submerged truck. The Wabasha County Sheriff's Office has identified him as 62-year-old James Steiner from Alma, Wisconsin. According to the Sheriff's Office, Steiner's truck was located upside down just off the embankment of the Zumbro River at around 9:15 this morning. Authorities say he was traveling north of County Road 11 prior to his truck ending up in the water. Steiner was dead when law enforcement got to him. At this time, authorities aren't saying what caused Steiner to end up off the road. Their investigation is still ongoing. The Wabasha County Sheriff's Office tells me they received a 911 call about the pickup truck in the Zumbro River. Live here in the studio, Matt Rainier, KTTC News.
All right, Matt, thanks for that update tonight. Less than 2 months now remain until the end of the legislative biennium in Minnesota, and this week lawmakers are away from the Capitol for spring break. This year's break comes right after the governor's State of the State address, where we got a detailed look at what to expect over the course of the next few months. KTTC's Quinn Gorham breaks it all down and tells us where each party stands heading into the end of the year.
We found out a lot during the State of the State address this year. For one, the DFL is still riding high on the productive year they had in 2023, but they're taking a more dialed back approach to this legislative session. On the other side of the aisle, you have Republicans who are still trying to make their voices heard in a legislature controlled completely by the opposing party. Both parties reacted to the governor's speech on Tuesday night, but more importantly, laid a framework for the next few months in St. Paul. The DFL's heavy-handed approach to the 2023 legislative session has been a lot quieter this year, and it appears that'll continue to be the case. One big indication of that is the relatively small budget target that was set last week. DFL leadership indicated this week they intend to focus on just a few key areas this year, almost all of them tied to policy and not funding. Walz mentioned 3 key policies: infrastructure, gun violence prevention, and education.
Minnesota is a wonderful place. It's a place that we call home, but we have more to do to make sure it is the home for more and more Minnesotans who are going to come live here and help us build our future.
Republicans had more to say about the speech. In particular, they argued that there needs to be a stronger push for affordable living in the state by lowering taxes. They also called for better support to rural EMS.
I wish the governor would have addressed some of the plans that he had on how we're going to fix this state so we have more optimism. We have a future in this state for not only our children, but also our businesses, our people, just to be here, to stay in Minnesota.
The piece that remains uncertain in all of this is bonding. Both parties have acknowledged that it is a bonding year, but Republicans haven't yet committed to whether or not they will vote for a final version of the bill. They say they want to see the final version of the bill before taking an official stance, but it's likely we could see the bonding bill used as leverage, much like it was last year. Reporting in St. Paul, I'm Quinn Gorham.
The legislature will return from break next Tuesday. From state to local politics, Rochester's current city council president announcing today she will not seek re-election. In a statement issued today, Brooke Carlson said, quote, "It has been an honor of a lifetime to work with our incredible city staff," end quote. In her time as president, she says she had countless opportunities to interact with her community. With the time left as president, Carlson says she will do her best to ensure the city of Rochester is set up for success. Carlson also says she is grateful for the support from her family and friends during her time in office. Councilman Sean Palmer announced his candidacy for council president last week. An update now on sports for Minnesota sports fans, as the owner, Glenn Taylor, says the Timberwolves and Lynx are no longer for sale. In a release this morning, Taylor confirmed the expiration of the option of Mark Lohr and Alex Rodriguez to acquire controlling interest in the Timberwolves and the Lynx to become the majority owners. The closing of the sale of the team was required to happen within 90 days following the notice from Rodriguez and Lohr, which actually expired yesterday. A request of an extension to become majority owners for Rodriguez and Lohr will not be happening either. In the statement, Taylor says he will continue to work with Mark, Alex, and the rest of the ownership group to ensure our teams have the necessary resources to compete at the highest levels on and off the court, he said in a statement. In response, Lohr and Rodriguez issued a statement where they expressed disappointment with Taylor, saying, quote, "Glenn Taylor's statement is an unfortunate case of seller's remorse that is short-sighted and disruptive to the team and the fans during a historic winning season," end quote. Lohr and Rodriguez also stated that the funding and that they have the funding, that is, and are still committed to buy the team as soon as the NBA completes its approval process. Still ahead for you here on Your News at 5. We're going to take you live to Washington ahead of a major fundraising event for the Biden campaign and tell you how former President Donald Trump is responding to a judge's recent gag order. And fewer diplomas were handed out to RPS's graduating class of 2023, why the district's graduation rate dropped last year. And in your first alert weather forecast, we welcomed back the sun today. Will it stick around as the Easter Bunny prepares for his return to southeast Minnesota and northeast Iowa? Sarah will answer that question after the break.
The KTTC First Alert Weather with meteorologist Sarah Gannon.
So we're talking about the sun, and one thing I noticed today on my drive into work, Sarah, is we are seeing some green out in those farm fields.
I know, the grass, all the stuff out there, it's liking the moisture. So we need more of it to continue to kind of eat away at some of that deficit.
But definitely something nice after we've seen that brown for so long.
I know, and that sun, I just was so happy to see the sun today. I kind of opened the shades a little bit.
Yeah.
My kitty was very excited about that, hopped right in the window and spent her morning
Makes a difference
looking
for
outside.
everyone, I think.
Exactly. The houseplant, loving it. I actually have a bloom on my daisy now. It's exciting to see the sunshine, as am I, and hopefully as many of you are at home. Here is a beautiful look there at that sunshine this afternoon as we check in with your Louis Donato live at Camera Network. Just gorgeous conditions area-wide, so if you are maybe planning to head out and about here in the next hour or two and enjoy some of that sunshine, you should be good to go. Beautiful conditions here for tonight. Temperatures a tad below average, so you may still need that light jacket, but area-wide, good conditions. We're sitting at 39 degrees here in Rochester, same for Dodge Center, Owatonna, Zumbrota, Red Wing, and South now sitting into those lower 40s. So 41 degrees there in Austin, Winona, Cresco, and Osage all sitting at 41. 43 in Decorah, Charles City, Mason City, Forest City. Just a beautiful afternoon here. Not much happening right now in southeast Minnesota, northeast Iowa. We have quiet, clear conditions overhead. High pressure continues to dominate the upper Midwest and allows more of that clearing to continue. Now, we will look to focus and keep an eye on a couple rain chances headed our way, but for tonight, things looking pretty pleasant. We'll also look to see our temperatures trending a bit more above average, or trending more seasonal, I should say, jumping back into the 40s and 50s. So we'll take a little bit of a break from those 30s. As for the weekend, we're tracking the chance for some rain showers headed our way. First wave, very minor, expected late Friday night into early Saturday. The better opportunity for some accumulating rainfall will be Sunday into Monday. So that will be the opportunity where you'll need to break out those rain jackets and those umbrellas. As we time things out here for this evening, clear, quiet conditions. Very pleasant here for tonight. Temperatures will be sitting into those mid-upper 20s as we wake up tomorrow morning, starting off your Friday morning there, 6 a.m. So we'll look to see a few more clouds filtering back into the area. So continuing to see a bit of a mix of sun and clouds there throughout your Friday. So daytime hours, things pleasant. We'll see winds coming out of the southeast. That will help push and bump up those temperatures. Expecting to see 50s, lower 50s here in southeast Minnesota, northeast Iowa, probably some mid-50s across northern Iowa throughout your Friday afternoon. So that will be our warm day. As we roll into the overnight hours there, so mainly about 11 o'clock midnight, maybe a quick little push there of some very stray to isolated rain showers that will pass through. And again, staying very minor here for the area. Not expecting to see really much of anything for accumulation with that. Maybe 1/100 of an inch or so, very minor. Then as we fast forward into your early Saturday morning, conditions drying out. Bit of cloud cover though for the area. We may see a couple rays of sunshine there by late Saturday afternoon, but otherwise I think will be pretty cloudy for the day. Temperatures will be seasonal there into the 40s. Then we look ahead to Sunday into Monday. That will be our next opportunity for some rain showers, and that will arrive very late in the day. So if you have maybe some Easter plans outside, want to do an egg hunt, that'll be the best time to get outside is during the morning hours, because we'll bring in that rain chance late Sunday, and that will continue into Monday. At this point in time, looking isolated for our area, maybe some lingering mixing possible there late Monday into early Tuesday as that system finally pushes out. When it comes to amounts, still a bit early to pinpoint, but we certainly need the moisture. We'll take any little bit that we can get. This system between, again, not expecting much when it comes to amounts for Friday night, but Sunday into Monday will be our best opportunity to pick up some moisture with that system. And I think many of us could be looking at maybe 2/10 up towards about 5 to 6/10 of an inch. So not a lot of moisture, but we certainly need it. We'll take any little bit that we can get. Heading into tonight, temperatures back into the upper teens, some 20s. Overall, pretty quiet and cool evening here for the region. A little bit more sunshine on the way for your Friday. Mild temperatures area-wide, 50s expected for those high temperatures. Here's that 7-day forecast. We'll look to see a couple stray rain showers there as we head towards late Sunday for Easter Sunday there. For those who celebrate, highs will be in the 40s, so very seasonal, and we'll look to stay in some seasonal ranges there, 40s and 50s for high temperatures as we roll into next week, Rod.
I think after some of those highs we saw in the 30s the last couple of days, this is going to feel very nice.
Absolutely.
Okay, Sarah, thank you so much. Rochester Public Schools graduation rate dropped a bit for the class of 2023. The Minnesota Department of Education releasing new numbers this morning. Our Eric Min joins us in the studio tonight at 5. He spoke with RPS Superintendent Dr. Kent Pickel today to break down some more of these numbers for us. Hi, Eric.
Brock, RPS says its class of 2023 graduation rates dropped by nearly 2%, 1.91 to be exact. Its superintendent, Dr. Kent Pickel, shares school improvement is a marathon and not a sprint. He says he's confident that RPS is headed in the right direction. According to RPS, the graduation rate for the class of 2023 was nearly 84%. This is about half a percentage point above the statewide average, which is 83.33%. In 2022, the RPS graduation rate was about 86%. Digging into the numbers, there was a decrease in graduation rates for Asian, Black, Latino, American Indian students and English learners, while graduation rates improved for Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander students and white students. Superintendent Pickel says the pandemic played a significant role in these results.
These students had a difficult time during the pandemic. Whether it's because someone in their family lost a job or because they were learning at home through computers and that was difficult. It's not that surprising that some kids would need more time to complete. But we still take very seriously the fact that we didn't get as many kids across our graduation stages after 4 years as we did the previous year, and we'll be looking to figure out why that might have been the case.
Dr. Pickel says RPS will analyze this graduation data to better facilitate every student in the school district. He says RPS is working to become a data-driven school district, and it will use the data to improve its services. Tonight at 6, we'll hear more from Superintendent Kent Pickel on his thoughts about the graduation rate data and RPS's plans for the future. Live in the studio, Eric Min, KTTC News.
Eric, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. A bit of health news here tonight. The CDC is alerting doctors to watch for unusual symptoms of a rare but serious bacterial infection because it's on the rise here in the United States. Those infections are caused by a strain of Neisseria meningitis. It's a bacteria. Now, meningitis symptoms usually include fever, headache, nausea, and a stiff neck. However, many cases of this recent strain instead present bloodstream infections and about 4% with painful infected joints. It also is unusual. Health officials say that the infections are striking middle-aged adults. Normal meningitis infections strike babies or adolescents and young adults. The CDC says in the cases identified this year, about 1 in 6 people have died, a higher than normal fatality rate for these infections. The agency says immediate antibiotic treatment is critical.
Well, tonight's 6 o'clock broadcast is Tom Overly's last on the anchor desk after 24 amazing years here at KTTC. Join us as we wish him well as he focuses on family. So we'll see you at 6 o'clock. Brock will be right back.
KTTC weather brought to you by
President Joe Biden in New York City ahead of a major campaign fundraiser at Radio City Music Hall. We bring in KTTC's White House correspondent John Decker joining us now live tonight. John, let's start with the first question. How much money is expected to be raised tonight for the Biden campaign? And then how do Biden's fundraising numbers compare with former President Donald Trump's campaign?
Brock, this fundraiser underway in New York City. In fact, earlier today, President Barack Obama hitched a ride on Air Force One with President Biden up to New York City. This fundraiser, the biggest fundraiser of the 2024 presidential election cycle so far, $25 million at least will be raised as it relates to this particular fundraiser. Very star-studded. You have the former presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton, musical entertainment as well. As it relates to the former president, he is trailing in the race for campaign cash. At the beginning of this month, the Biden campaign had $71 million cash on hand. The Trump campaign, less than half of that. And so he's playing catch up, and it doesn't make it any easier when a significant percentage of the money that Donald Trump is raising is actually going to legal fees. So that's been problematic for him in the campaign cycle so far.
John, let's keep it with former President Trump here. He lashed out today on social media at the New York judge who put him under a partial gag order earlier this week ahead of his April 15th hush money criminal trial. So as a lawyer, John, could Trump possibly face a criminal contempt charge here if he violates that partial gag order?
He could, Brock, and let's just remind people what this limited gag order says. It says that the former president cannot criticize a potential juror or a current juror, cannot criticize in any way a potential witness, nor can he criticize family members of those prosecuting this case against the former president. So he can still, if he wishes to do so, I wouldn't recommend it as a lawyer, criticize the judge presiding over this case, Judge Juan Marchand. He can also criticize Alvin Bragg. He's the Manhattan DA. If he violates that limited gag order, there are various sanctions that could be imposed upon the former president, including fines, all the way up to and including a criminal contempt citation against the former president.
KTTC White House correspondent John Decker reporting for us tonight at 5. As always, John, thanks for your time tonight. We'll be right back.